Two of the best players will put their honor and dignity on the line in this furious competition. Welcome to the Shaolia World Championship! The Shaolia World Championship is the best of 10 series. The winner will be awarded with a beautiful Shaolia Trophy, and the loser of each game will dress up as one of Shaolia's characters. And now, introducing our players, Playmaker versus Tricky. We are going to play the Warring States game mode again. Warring States is a standard 1v1 game mode and we'll use these 47 level 2 cards. Today's loser will be dressed up as the Engineer. Her pink hair looks amazing. So, who will it be? Will it be Playmaker again, or will it be Tricky this time? And now, let's start the second game. Here we go! To begin the game, we are going to start with Tricky's purchase phase. Tricky won the last game with a very bold strategy by abandoning the culture score race and going all in with attack cards. I hope we see an encore of his awesome strategy. Tricky seems way more relaxed than the first game. He decides to buy a barricade, a market, and a school. Also, he's buying 2 more level 1 cards, another market, and he's going to buy a farm. Nice. Tricky ends his turn after getting various kinds of level 1 cards. To begin Playmaker's purchase phase, great Scott! Playmaker went back in time! He looks way younger and richer than the last game within a very short time. He could have won the last game if he were a little bit more careful. But he lost, so now he's a big baby. I hope he can get revenge in this game. He decides to buy some level 1 cards. He gets a market, a school, an infantry, and a blacksmith. Getting various level 1 cards, he is smiling like a happy baby! It looks like Playmaker is trying to get a level 2 card, and Playmaker decides to buy the port. The earlier you build a level 2 card, the faster you can widen the gap with your opponent. As I remember, Playmaker's port play was so inefficient last time. Port is a very powerful trade card, which is also very cheap to build, but it is not easy to handle. I guess he is getting the port again to maybe make up for the mistake in the last game. Tricky wastes no time at all, and he builds that farm in his building phase. And what's this? Oh my gosh! Just like the first game, Playmaker uses a character card in the first round. It's the Specialist. The Specialist is a character card that lets you ignore the building conditions of all level 2 cards. Now on to Tricky's action phase. He rolls a 2, 3, and a 4. Although Playmaker built a level 2 card in the first round, he already used a character card. So Tricky shouldn't be too upset about that and keep up his pace. Alright, so he decides to activate his farm and palace and takes 7 gold. And let's see if Playmaker can keep making those plays. It's in his action phase. He rolls those dice. He gets a 3, 4, and a 5. Let's see how he uses them. He's going to activate his blacksmith and then his port. Okay, interesting. And then he's going to, yes, do the innate ability of the palace. Now, I wonder what he's going to trade here. He can trade twice, but it seems like these trade chances don't really mean anything for him because he doesn't have enough resources. So I wonder what he's going to do. This doesn't seem great. He's thinking, and yeah, so let's see what he goes for. Okay, he trades in a mineral and gets some gold. Okay. And then he trades in the gold for a mineral. Okay, so that seems to be a very big mistake. As a result of these trades, he only gained 1 gold by activating the port. So, if he just activated the palace, it would have been a better choice. And Tricky's making sure he knows all about this. Big mistake by Playmaker, oh my gosh. But even with that big mistake, he still has a level 2 card on his territory and has a little advantage over Tricky. Going into Playmaker's purchase phase, he buys a blacksmith, a market, and he might, yes, he's going to buy 1 more level 1 card, and he's going to get a farm. All right. So, and he immediately wants to trade all 3 of those in for that smelter, which can be a very good combo with that port, so you can get all those minerals and trade them in. I can't wait to see what kind of synergy he would make with those cards. By taking level 2 cards earlier, Playmaker is widening the gap between Tricky. He truly is a rich baby. Now, Tricky goes into his purchase phase and buys a barricade, okay, and another barricade. Looks like he has the same problem that Playmaker did in the first game. He has some extra gold there. I wonder if he's going to use it for his next round 3 move. Now into Playmaker's building phase, he builds that smelter, and that's really good. He has 2 level 2 cards on his territory already. That's a huge lead over Tricky. Now Tricky builds both of his markets. All right, he's going for those trades. And yeah, so we'll see how he does in comparison to the level 2 cards that Playmaker already has. And now we're into Playmaker's action phase. He rolls a 3, a 4, and a 4. I wonder how he's going to use them, and he's not even going to use them. He's going straight into his second character card, the Architect. The Architect is a character card that can put any die tokens on 2 different cards in his territory. Now we can activate the Smelter and Port regardless of the roll's result. Wow! This is a powerful engine he built, and now he is leading the game. What a big, powerful baby he is. So with his dice, he ends up activating the Blacksmith, the Smelter, and the Port. With his Blacksmith and his Smelter, he gets 3 minerals. I wonder how he's going to trade them. All right, so he has many choices up there, and he's going to trade all 3 minerals to probably get 9 gold. Yes, that is what he's doing. Wow, that's a good trade right there. But he's not done there. He has 1 more trade he can use. Maybe he can go for... Oh, he's going life tokens. All right, he's spending 3 gold to get 3 life tokens. And he is fortifying 2 to the Port, 1 for the Smelter. Now, Tricky doesn't have any attack cards, but Playmaker bought some life tokens in case Tricky has some attack character cards. In Tricky's action phase, he decides to use his dice to activate the farm, a market, and the palace innate ability for 2 gold. He gets 5 gold from this, and he gets a trade. Now, he has not many options. He doesn't have any minerals, so he can't really trade much there, but he's going to trade to get 2 level 1 cards from the discard pile. Now, he decides to get the Blacksmith and an infantry. It seems that he's going to go for the attack strategy since Playmaker doesn't have any defense cards on the field. Tricky can do some serious damage to Playmaker. If you look up top in the drafting pool, you see there are many attack cards up there. Tricky made a wise decision even if he's at a disadvantage now. And now the first player marker changes back to Tricky, so now it's Tricky's purchasing phase. Now he can buy many things. He has a lot of gold stacked up there, so let's see what he does. First thing he does is to clear the drafting pool and reload them. All right. Good choice, good choice. But he's not going attack, so that's the interesting thing. Playmaker's going to help out a bit, and we see a garden, and a ranch. Okay, so doesn't really seem like he wants that. Yes, he's going to pay 1 more gold to clear the drafting pool again. Let's see what happens. Playmaker, flip those cards. All right, we have a theater. We have a wall, very good defense card, and another wall. Wow, maybe Playmaker has some defense cards coming up. Now, Tricky can still purchase some things, so let's see what he ends up buying. Lots of decision making here. Okay, so he's going to break up his big 5 golder to... What's he going to buy? He's going to buy 2 level 1 cards. He gets a Blacksmith and a School. All right, so he has a lot of culture cards in his hand. So he can go attack or he can go culture. I wonder what he's going to do. Now, he buys another one and he gets an infantry. He decides to discard his attacking cards. So he's not going attack. Did not expect that. And looks like he's going the culture score route. He just bought the theater. I guess he is now trying to win the culture score race instead of narrowing the resource gap. It seems like a very good strategy for him now. All right, into Playmaker's purchasing phase. He's going to make lots of messes with all of his money, and there we go. So he's going to buy an infantry, a market, and another infantry. So 3 level 1 cards. All right, so now he can go on the attack. But with Tricky having 3 barricades in his hand, that might be a little difficult. So Playmaker has a lot of options ahead of him. Both players elect to skip their building phase. If the game progresses at a slower pace, Playmaker has an advantage since he has a Smelter and a Port with any die tokens. Alright, so into his action phase, he rolls those dice and he gets a 1, 1, and a 6. He activates his palace twice and he does the market. Alright, very good. So he gets 4 gold for that, and with his trade, let's see what he decides to do. Yeah, he has a few options, but he doesn't have many because he doesn't have any minerals to use to trade for any more gold. So he has 7 gold to use. He can use 6 of it to maybe get into the discard pile of level 2 cards. I don't know. He has a lot of options he can do here, so we'll see. All right, so he's using 6 of his gold to, well, he's juggling it. Maybe Tricky should be a juggler in the future. I don't know. Oh, and he needs to be a better mathematician. Okay, so he goes into the discard piles and he gets he gets 2 gardens. All right, he is going all in on the culture score race. The Garden and the Theater are very powerful level 2 culture cards that combo off each other. Now, Tricky has to discard down to 8 cards for his hand limit of 8, so he discards the Blacksmith. But since he spent so much of his money to buy those cards, it will take him some time to build them. All right, into Playmaker's action phase, he rolls a 3, 4, and a 6. Now he has those any tokens. He can use them, with any. So he goes Blacksmith, and I assume it's Smelter and Port for the combo. Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. So he'll be taking 3 minerals and probably 2 trades, I assume. All right, so he needs to be efficient here. Now, Playmaker hasn't been efficient in the past, but this is his chance to shine. So he's spending 2 minerals to get 6 gold. All right, so he's getting his 6 gold right now, and he looks like he's going to trade for a level 2 card up there. Maybe that will be good. No, he decides not to use his second port ability. Okay. Again, Playmaker is not very efficient with his level 2 cards. All right, so in the purchase phase, Playmaker right off the bat decides to change the drafting pool. Now we have a theater, a temple, and a fortress. A wonder card is out there. Nice. All right, so he is discarding 3 cards, 3 level 1 cards to get one of those up there. Now he gets the temple. Okay. So he flips over the next one, and we see a garden. Now, those are more culture points for Tricky. I wonder... yeah, the big baby is going to get rid of those, so Tricky does not have a chance to get any of those. Now we have attacking cards. We have a catapult, and a gym. Now, it is basically guaranteed that Tricky will win the culture race with the garden and the theater. So Playmaker must be trying to run faster than Tricky with the temple. Now, Tricky may have more powerful cards in his hand, but it takes time and resources to build. Now, he only has 1 gold to his name. With that, he skips his purchasing phase, and we go to Playmakers, and he decides to build that temple. Wow, he is starting his culture race. All right, now Tricky has no money. He can't build anything really, so we're going straight into Playmaker's action phase. He rolls them bones. Let's see what he gets. He gets... deuces on the board, 222. All right, so with those any tokens, those are still very good. He's going to activate the temple and the smelter and the port. He must do that trade. So he's going to get 2 culture with that and 2 minerals. Now he is going to use those 2 minerals and get some money. And then he's going to look inside the discards to get 2 cards of his choice. So let's see. He ends up choosing the theater and garden? Is that final decision? Yes, it is. Now, theater and garden, is this a wise choice? I'm not sure. Since the culture race already started and he already has a temple built, I think he should just rush scoring culture points with the temple's combo. Also, those minerals could have been used to purchase more officers to activate the temple more often. All right, Tricky rolls his dice and he gets a 6, a 2, and a 5. He decides to activate the palace, all right, to get some gold. He's going to activate next. He's going to get 2 officers, and he's going to activate the farm to get some monies. So he gets 5 gold and 2 officers for that. Tricky is slowly gathering more and more resources to build his culture cards, but it still looks like Playmaker is leading the game. But Tricky's not out of it yet. Let's see how he reacts. He has a lot of good cards in his hands. Hopefully he can get them on the field very soon. And going into round 5, it looks like both players are going to skip their purchasing phase. And also, they're going to elect to skip their building phase. We're going into Tricky's action phase, and we seem to be in an all-out culture point face-off. Tricky has a great engine he can use, but it's in his hand. Playmaker has a decent combo on the field already and is ahead. And so Tricky rolls a 3, 5, and a 5, and he activates his farm to get 3 gold. And it looks like he's going to use his palace to... he ends up getting the 2 gold, and he gets the 2 officers, getting 5 gold and 2 officers at the end. All right, into Playmaker's action phase. He's rolling them bones. Let's see what he gets. Anytime now, Playmaker. Thank you. All right, so we have a 2, a 1, and a 6. All right, so he chooses to activate his temple, his smelter, and his port for that combo again. He's going to be trading again. So he's going to get 2 minerals from his smelter. He's probably going to use those 2 minerals to trade with the port. So he has it in his hand. Let's see what he does with them. All right, so he is going to sell. Yes, he's going to sell the minerals and get 6 gold from that. Now, he has many options here. I really hope he can use these trades for... Oh, okay, so he's buying another mineral. I think Playmaker's letting his guard down and is content to keep getting culture from his temple. What I would like to see here is Playmaker getting more aggressive. Plus, again, Playmaker's not being efficient with his port. Now is not the time to sit back, grab a beer, and relax. This is when he should put the nail in the coffin and take Tricky out of the game. All right, into the next round, both players elect to skip their purchasing phase. And Playmaker's building phase, we choose to build a garden, which is now building a better engine on his board. Very good work. All right, going into Tricky's building phase, he's making a decision here, and he's going to sell his character card for 3 gold. All right, that's an interesting start. And he gets his 3 gold, puts it in his pocket, and decides to destroy all of his... Wow! Wow, did not see that coming, and he's just throwing everything on the board. His gardens, his 2 schools, and yes, and he's putting a barricade out there for defense against the baby. Oh my gosh, what a good move there, because now he's going all in and all that culture. With his 2 gardens in his territory, he can score 3 culture points with a school. Oh my gosh, with 2 schools, he can get 6, and he has a lot of officers, many options here. Ah, it looks like Playmaker's baby wig fell off. Maybe an omen to his hopes of winning falling off. We'll see. All right, Playmaker rolls his dice, and he gets a 1, 1, and a 4. And Tricky's laughing right there. And oh, he's just showing his character card. It's the philosopher. Oh my gosh. It's a culture character card that can activate with any die. What a build-up to use the philosopher so effectively. It isn't very useful used alone, but with the other culture cards on his field, it becomes very powerful. Now Tricky has built 2 gardens, and he can score 3 culture points with the philosopher, potentially getting 9 in 1 round. Now what are you going to do, Playmaker? It looks like the tides have turned. Alright, so he decides he's going to get 2 gold potentially from his palace. And okay, he's going to activate his smelter to get 2 minerals. And lots of thinking here. I think he is a little shaken up by Tricky putting so many culture cards on the field at 1 turn. So, alright, so he gets his 2 gold, he has his 2 minerals, and okay, so he's looking to trade and maybe get a level 2 card on the field. He's going through the discards and decides not to do that. Okay, so I don't think Playmaker knows what he's going to do. Alright, so we get more gold, and he's going to just put the gold away and put the cards down. Just right, left, right, left, right, left. He doesn't know. I don't know. Alright, so there we go. Finally, he makes a decision. He's going to sell 2 minerals, get 6 gold, and let's see what he's going to do with that. Alright, so he has a 6 gold. Alright, Playmaker, come on. Okay, so he's going to use 4 gold? Is that 4 gold? Yes, 4 gold. And, oh, he's going to buy the first player turn. That's a good strategy, especially with Tricky being in a really good position right now to get the end of the turn and the start of the turn. However, it looks so difficult for Playmaker to turn this game back around in his favor. And now Tricky's action phase, he's going to be rolling those dice, and he gets a 2, a 3, and a 5. All right, so is he going to activate all 3? It looks like he's activating his school. That'll be 3 culture points right there. He's so excited right now. His hands are shaking. Another school. That's another 3 points. And probably that... Oh, yep. He's playing that philosopher, getting a total of 9 culture points. I know he's going to use that last die on it. And that is a great turn. Now, we've noticed that Tricky throughout the game has been just piling so many officers. I think with that philosopher card in his hand, he knew he was building for this moment right here. Going into the next round, Playmaker purchases a turn, so he is the first player again. Now, Playmaker made a good start with powerful resource cards early, with his port and his smelter. However, many rounds of inefficient decisions eventually gave the chance of victory to Tricky. Things could be so much different if he made better decisions with his port and his temple. In his purchase phase, Playmaker decides to buy 3 level 1 cards, immediately trade them in for a catapult. I guess he's going to try to destroy Tricky's culture cards with it. Now on Tricky's purchasing phase, we have to remember he scored 9 culture points, which is half what you need to win the game in the last round. Right now, he's going to buy a level 1 card, the infantry. Alright, into Playmaker's building phase, he immediately demolishes his blacksmith, builds his catapult, and he's going to throw some rocks at Tricky. Boom, boom! Tricky passes his building phase right into Playmaker's action turn. So he's going to be rolling those dice, and Playmaker releases. There we go. He has a 2, a 5, and a 5. Just like the last round, Tricky will become the first player next round. If Playmaker fails to destroy enough culture cards right now, he will be defeated. He built a catapult, but it doesn't look like it's enough. So he decides to activate that catapult, destroy that barricade easily, and get 1 gold as loot. All right, and then he's going to get his 2 minerals from his smelter, and now he has to decide what he's going to do with the port. He has many options here as usual, and hopefully he does something very smart and very clutch at this moment. So he decides to spend 2 golds to buy a mercenary and immediately kill that philosopher. All right, and gets 1 gold from that. With his second trade, he ends up selling 1 mineral to get 3 gold. Now Playmaker may have destroyed the philosopher, but it might not be enough to stop Tricky from winning this game. And that's going to move us right into Tricky's action phase. He rolls those dice, and 1 die goes out of bounds, and there we go. We have a 1, 2, and a 3. Playmaker is so happy. This might be the worst roll that Tricky could have ever had. He can activate only 1 school with this. He's only going to get 3 culture points out of a possible 6. This might give another round for Playmaker. But you know, he is going to save his officer for the next round. That might be a smart move. In his next action phase, it is highly likely that he can activate 2 schools, then he will win the game with a total of 18 culture points. There is a very slight chance that Tricky fails to activate both schools on his next round, which will put Playmaker right back in the game, and he is so delighted with that possibility. We're going into round 8, and we're going to start with Tricky's purchase phase. All right, he's going to buy a level 1 card, and he gets a barricade. He is very happy with that. All right, so Tricky has an officer right now, and he needs only 2 dice to activate his 2 schools. He can use his 3rd die for 2 officers, which puts him on the edge of glory right now. Playmaker decides to skip his purchasing phase, and Tricky decides to skip his building phase. All right, now, Tricky is so happy right now. He is taunting Playmaker. Playmaker has his thinking face on. He's not very happy. He's built into a corner, and now we go into Playmaker's building phase. He demolishes his catapult that he's just doesn't seem to need anymore. He needs to get some more culture faster than Tricky. That's his only route right now. He ends up building that theater right there to get even more of a combo. Tricky's hoping for one of the best dice rolls right here. What does he get? He gets a 2, a 5, and a 6. Yes, 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 that's all he needed. He's going to activate his 2 schools, and finally, Tricky wins the second game by scoring 18 culture points. With his amazing gameplay again, Tricky takes 2 consecutive wins. Well done, Tricky. Sorry, Playmaker. A big sad baby. Thank you all for watching Game 2, and we'll see next time if Playmaker can achieve his first victory, or if Tricky can make his record to 3-0.